1, 2. Can I get a audio check in the chat room? Hi, J. Thomas Reset. Hey, Ruben. Did you have fun playing poker yesterday? Good audio? Good audio? Come on, let me know, because I got a podcast. It's going to be a Zoom call with several people. So I needs to know, how is the audio? What kind of weight am I giving up? What are we playing? I don't know what kind of weight I'm giving up. Yo. Chris. Can you hear me? Hello. So far, your screen is frozen. And check 1.
John is up and around. Is he walking yet?
You'll have to ask him. Hi, everybody. This is Daniel with POVPOOL, and I'm joined by Chris Swart and Frank Almanza. We're actually waiting for John Henderson. He's supposed to join this call, and we wanted to just take a little time and thank John for all his years in the pool rooms and congratulate him on his recent induction to the One Pocket Hall of Fame. So, it's times like this that I think are really sort of appropriate for bringing people together. One of them is Frank Almanza, Frank the Barber, who I haven't really talked to in about like 9 months, maybe. Is that right,
Been a
Frank?
while. It's been a good while.
It's been a good while. It has. It really has. And I'm glad we figured out this Zoom, the technology that we're using here to get you on here. And we're going to be joined by John Henderson real soon. I'm also joined by Chris Swart. Chris Swart owns California Billiards. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing really well. Thanks for joining. We also have a few other people invited. Mary Kenniston's invited to join. Jerry Matchin is Kentucky. A lot of John's friends will hopefully be joining. But why don't we, while we're just waiting for John, why don't we just give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves and how you kind of met John and how John entered your lives. Frank?
Okay. Well, I've known John since about 1960. So that makes it about, 60 years. And I lived in Alhambra, California, and he was in that same area, but he was strictly a snooker player. I was 9-ball, 9-ball, 8-ball, and stuff like that on the big table. But he was a snooker player at a place called Mike's in Alhambra, a little small place. And we became good friends. He started coming over to the place where I was at. It was a bowling alley in Monterey Park. And we had a pretty steady golf game going there every weekend that lasted like all day. We started playing at 11 o'clock in the morning and quit playing at 2 in the morning. And then we became good friends.
Yeah.
And I can tell you one thing about John. John is the kind of guy that you can play him, lose to him, and be happy that you lost to him. How many can tell you that? Because he was always so happy-go-lucky, and you didn't mind losing to him. And that's old John.
Yeah, gambling and pool is kind of like that, right? That's kind of part of the art form of hustling, isn't it? It's like if you can get your opponent to enjoy putting his hand in his pocket, giving you his cash.
I'll tell you, if you're around,
that's a hell of an accomplishment.
When you're around John for any period of time, he's got a million stories. I mean, a lot of stories, and a lot of them pretty funny too. I really enjoy his company. Anytime we have gone to tournaments like at Bogies in Texas, we room together, and he's just fun to be with.
He really is. He really is. I mean, up until even the last couple of years ago, just before the COVID thing took off, and before all the rooms were closed, John was playing every day, wasn't he, Chris?
I think he was playing Sacramento every day. Yeah.
Before he got sick,
Yeah.
And he plays for long periods of time, doesn't he? Still, I mean,
as long as his Social Security check will hold up.
So, Chris, you've owned California Billiards a long time. You owned it also on Mountain View. Tell us a little bit about how you met John.
Well, mine's an interesting story on how I met John. I played a lot of golf when I lived up in Chico, and I heard of his name but never got to play him.
Okay.
When I bought Mountain View, California Billiards in Mountain View, I played quite a bit there. There was a pretty strong golf contingency there, but not a lot of great players.
Okay.
I knew Ronnie Allen because I saw Ronnie Allen a lot up in Chico. So I was beating the crap out of Ronnie Allen on the golf table in Mountain View and spotting him holes, and he got mad. And typical Ronnie Allen, when you can't win, he, wants to threaten to play from work. Of course, you got to play for 500, then you got to play for 1,000. I tried to keep it, kind of calm. I didn't want too many issues, but at that time, Ronnie wasn't going to beat me on that table. It just wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So Ronnie got mad and decided he wanted to play doubles. He wanted me to pick any partner I wanted, and he could pick any partner he wanted, and we were going to match up and play in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
Which I didn't care, because I told Ronnie, I didn't care what partner you got, you're going to lose because I can beat you all day. So it doesn't really matter what partner you get. Of course, we went on every day. Ronnie would call, "You sure you're going to play? You sure you're going to play?" Yeah. I never asked him who he was going to bring. Never asked. And I told him, I'll play with Shaky Dave. Shaky can be my partner. Plays, good, just as good. And, this went on, and we were supposed to play at 10 o'clock on a Saturday. So I show up about 9 o'clock. Dave shows up, practice a little bit, getting ready for this major action. Well, 12 o'clock rolls around. Nobody comes through the door. I can't hear anything from Ronnie. It was probably about 1 o'clock, and John Henderson walks through the door. And I see him walk up. I know who he is. I didn't really meet him, but I knew who he was. And he comes walking up, and he says hi. And I looked at him and I said, are you telling me you're Ronnie's partner? And he goes, "What you talking about, Ronnie's partner?" I go, "He's supposed to play some doubles match today." He goes, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And I go, "Well, what are you doing here?" He goes, "Ronnie told me there's this young punk over here at this pool room that I should come down here and whoop ass on."
Oh, yeah.
And I started laughing. I go, "Well, I'm the young punk you're supposed to be whooping ass on." And I was obviously already pissed off. I told John, "I'm not going to play you today." I go, "I would love to play you tomorrow. If you want to play Dave, I'm cool with that." But it didn't make sense for me to play one-on-one. Of course, Ronnie comes strolling in about a half hour later. I'm pissed off at him. And, he brings up, "Oh, my back hurts. That's why I couldn't be here on time."
Yeah.
I go, "That's a bunch of bullshit." There's John.
John
So that's
Henderson.
how I ended up being him.
Johnny boy.
John, we're already telling the story of how we met you guys, you at various rooms. We're trying to get audio. John, for those who don't know, has been undergoing some medical issues, and he's in a rehab facility. He's connecting his audio right now, but
okay, now I can hear you.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, when you're old and dumb,
When you're old and dumb, what?
When you're old and dumb, it takes a while.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen, welcome. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here too.
Yeah. Was that?
I said, I'm glad I'm here in more ways than one.
Exactly. Well, first of all, I think it would be appropriate right now, while we have you here, just to congratulate you on being inducted into the Hall of Fame, the One Pocket Hall of Fame. Put up by onepocket.org, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's right. It's a great honor for me, for an old pool scout. Probably dozens of others, at least, including Frank and the monks, that deserved it too. But they got to give it to somebody, and it was my turn this time.
Her birthday is June 12th. Her birthday is next week.
You got some background noise going on there, John. You got watching something, or you got friends with you?
Well, my back was bothering me. I got up and exercised this morning. I laid around for 3 days watching that damn tournament this weekend, and I missed my exercises for 3 days, and so it really, really hurt me.
Spades. The answer is yes.
I see.
Only you taking up pool over getting yourself healthy. Good job there, buddy.
Hey. I paid $29 for it. How are you, Chris? How are things down there?
I'm doing good. Everything's here. Table's waiting for you.
Well, it'll probably be the golf table. I'll need a couple inches higher, I think, by the time I get out of here with all that iron in my back.
Sorry,
Apologize to me, mister.
So we're also hoping Mary Kenniston will join us. She called me yesterday. She said she has a doctor's appointment and
Yeah.
that
See a picture of my mom?
she might drop in after she gets home from the doctor. Also, we're hoping Jerry will join us, but we know Jerry's having some medical stuff too. So maybe
We talked. Yeah.
That's my mom.
Oh, that is.
what's that, John?
I said, I'm sorry. I got to get used to doing this. I got to let you finish. I like to.
Yeah.
My thoughts, I lose them, so I relay them the minute I think of them. But Jerry and I did talk the other day.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Chris was just telling us about how he was playing Ronnie Allen and he stumbled into you. You were supposed to play him partners or something, right? That's how you first met.
Way back in Mountain View when Ronnie supposedly we were supposed to play partners, me and Dave against him and whoever he was bringing in. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I remember you coming strolling through the door and you had no idea why you were there except for to beat up somebody that was supposed to be playing good on the golf table.
That's my older child.
Ronnie, if Ronnie thinks he had anything to do with it, he only wanted about 70% of anything I wanted. Ronnie, when I was a kid, and he was not much older than me, he gave out 2 different birthdays. I think he was actually 2 years older than me. He was a great golf player on a 5x10, but he could not play a lick on the 6x12 whenever he tried it. But he played at Hollywood Billiards. They had a 5x10 there. And he would go down and play at the 4th and Main at the Mexican joint, down there. And he, the guy that staked all the Mexican guys down there, I don't know if he ever came up here, was an old Mexican guy named Emilio. And he wore a cowboy hat with one of the little tassels hanging down. And Ronnie got out of line one night and he had brought a guy from Peru. There was a redheaded player from Peru that played really good golf. And they beat Ronnie out of quite a bit of money. And Ronnie owed him $200. And he, and Emilio didn't say much. And then after a while, he said, "Ronnie, where's my money?" And Ronnie, being salty guy that he is, Ronnie said, "I'll give you the money when I feel like giving it to you." And Emilio very calmly said, "Ronnie, I shoot you." And Ronnie paid him. Because I guess he knew Emilio wasn't guilty.
Frank, you played John quite a lot, didn't you, over the years?
Well, we've always been good friends. So we never really matched up. And of course, I had no chance playing him one pocket, so that was his game.
Yeah.
But maybe in 9-ball and other games, I might have a little edge there. But we never played against each other because I just don't ever feel like playing for money with friends. It's just not. It's not.
Actually, you're right. I'm mistaken. It was Jerry Matchin that played John quite a lot, if I'm not mistaken.
When he didn't play me a lot, we did I used to spot him when he was a kid, and then when he got back from the road trip with Hawaiian Brian, he was just a better player, and I cool with him. And Frank and I have been friends since the 60s, and we did a lot more drinking than we did playing in those days. Yeah, that's right. And I used to run a tournament on Wednesday night at the Golden Q, and we always either started or ended up at the Silver Mug. And Frank had this gorgeous girlfriend named Joanne. And when they split up, Joanne gave me a call. And I thought, and I was divorced at the time. I thought, boy, I'm finally going to get a chance to get next to Joanne. I mean, she was gorgeous. And she could drink both of us under the table like that. And so she called me up and I said, "Hi," She says, "I want you to be on my pool team." She was putting back together a pool team. And I didn't care much for bar pool. I certainly couldn't play like Frank could and a lot of the guys, and I was very disappointed in Joanne. That, I thought she recognized me as a good runner-up to Frank, but I guess it was. She ended up with this real good-looking guy right out of the Marines, I think, wasn't he, Frank?
Yeah, a guy named Chuck. Yeah.
But
Chris, you played golf with John over the years, like countless hours of golf, right? I mean, so who's up on who?
Actually, he's up on me at the end. Yeah, I know he was coming on pretty strong.
Yeah,
I know. Well, it's hard for him to get up and play on a table that he hasn't played on a long time. It's hard for any of us. I mean, I go down to LA and try to play on those tables down there, and you get stuck on those tables that have those tight little pockets that you can't do anything but move around on.
I know.
But John always held his own. But you know what? We didn't play. I didn't play like David didn't play. Those two, they battled it out quite a bit. I would play more of it. It would just have fun. I have fun playing with John. John's, whether I win or lose, he's fun to play with, especially in a group. When you're in a group, in all honesty, he's the highlight of the personality when he walks in the door.
Yeah,
that's just who he is, and it's a pleasure every time he walks through the door because the whole room changes. And whether I'm tired or not, if he walks in the room and he wants to play golf, I'm playing. So I
drive 2.5 hours to get there, and depending on how recently Dave and I played or how he did in his other matches, kind of depended on whether we played or not. I love playing Dave because we both loved the game. Neither one of us had 1 foot out the door. We played 50, 100 a game, and that's gambling a little bit, and you won 300 or 400 often.
Sure.
And he played, when he was kicking them balls and playing good, just like Chris. It's just like one pocket. When you just see the table so good sometimes and you're kicking that ball. And I know Chris grew up playing in Chico where they played a lot of golf years and years ago. And I grew up playing in a bowling alley where they played a lot of golf. And there just weren't, anymore. There are just not too many places to go play golf. It started deteriorating probably in the late 70s. I traveled around in the 80s and played it all over the Western United States, wherever there was a place to go. And places like Phoenix, then had a lot of places to play and guys to gamble with. And anymore, there might not be one snooker table left in Phoenix, from what I hear. It's just, and Chris can explain that a lot better than I can, but, the cost of having something that doesn't draw enough play. I think his table, they've got them, they got the guys that'll come in there and play snooker on it. You got both of them still there, Chris?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I'm actually about to go back to the regular golf cloth because honestly, I haven't played. I don't think anybody's played golf on that table or any of those tables for probably last time we played a couple of years ago. Nobody, nobody plays on it anymore. The only time I can get
those tournaments, you get players from all over the country. I mean, one time we had a guy from Seattle in the game. We had that guy from where the hell was he? He a guy from Denver, played good, old guy. Remember him? Played really, beat me heads up one time, and a little bit. And we had guys from all over the country in that game playing for 20-2, and I think we had a 6-handed game. And I followed Ed Ames, and he had a million hickeys, and I was for the out hole. And he played what he thought was a wonderful safety, and he left me one of those like straight in long 3-railers, He said, "Well, you ain't making this." I said, "This is going to be pretty close," and I wished it. It cost him $96. I'll never forget that. He was back in town. I hadn't seen Ed. He was in Vegas for a long time. But I don't know if he went down to your place, but he was up around Hard Times for a while again.
No, I haven't seen him in a long time.
And Frank played a guy down, was it Riverside, Frank? Where was that place with that guy that was blowing all the money and you got more than your share of it? The place where the one-handed player played too.
I was thinking Montclair.
And I went out there 10 times and couldn't get the guy to play, and Frank beat him out of a lot of money. Enough, all I know is you could get a nice car. with it. So I played the guy
Yeah.
there, and I started stalling, and he had me stuck $100 before I realized he could play Aaron.
His name was Aaron.
Aaron, he was the best wheelchair player in the country for a while there, and he could play golf too. But Frank keeps he won't say nothing about that. He don't want the IRS to get him.
Yeah, that guy, I played him for a couple of months, and we'd play pretty much start on a Friday night and finish Saturday afternoon. And I put him on a string when we were playing. And on Monday, he'd come in with a lunch bag and pay me off with, money in that lunch bag. I'm not going to say how much or anything, but it was fair a month. And that went on for a couple of months. It was sweet.
I heard enough about it that I was driving out there all the time trying to get the guy.
A lot of people came there looking for him.
You remember that? You ever go to the old pool room in San Bernardino? That there on Waterman, there was a pool room out there with a 6x12, and they called me. A guy that used to steer me around a little bit called me up, and he says, "Hey, John, there's a guy here who wants to play some golf." And it's not that bad a ride for me in those days, out 10. So I said, "Hey, I'll be out there in about an hour." So I go out there, and the guy wants to play for 20 and 2. And they played with pool balls on the slowest 6x12 you ever saw. So I told the guy who brought me out here, I said, "Look, I'm just gonna iron this guy out and probably blow 100 and I'll get home for dinner." The guy kept playing and playing and playing, and he was gonna write a check. And normally I wouldn't do that, but the guy didn't have a prayer, and the owner said, "This guy is good for it." He says, I swear it's good for it. I ended up beating the guy out of $600 and some for 20 and 2. So you can figure how long we played. And he says, "I'm playing till I win a game." He says, "There ain't nobody in the world who can beat me every single game." And I finally got so tired I lost one, and he paid off and he quit.
That's funny.
So you got to show up when they call you, right?
So you finally let him win one, huh?
I didn't let him win one. I just was exhausted.
He tried hard.
I was playing hard dunks all the time on them tight pockets. There's BBs in buckets on that thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Frank.
I will say though that golf is probably one of the easiest games to figure out whether somebody's good or not. You normally don't get trapped in a golf game. It's pretty easy to see whether somebody knows what they're doing or not right off the first game. You have to be really, really good not to be able to show somebody what you have in a golf game.
It's hard to hide your speed.
Yeah, to a point. I mean, there's guys out there that there was
it.
a guy from LA, and I can't remember his name, that tried to do that on me a couple years ago and came up and tried to act like he didn't know how to play. But he made a mistake by shooting a 3-railer that not a lot of people know how to hit consistently, and that was all it took. And then all of a sudden, the speed changed. And so, but like I'm saying, it's not hard to. You don't really get trapped on a golf table unless you're a dumbass, because.
It was a good game for me to hustle when we took this trip, because you're walking in a strange pool room and you're wanting to gamble, and they're going to sick you on the best guy, and we're going to get beat. I told the story in Albuquerque where the guy had an animal control uniform on, and he was watching me play another guy, and we were both stalling, me and the other guy. I didn't know that. And we were playing for 10 and 1. And he says, "Say, you play pretty good. Would you bet more than that?" And I says, "Not on this table. The table had a loose rail." And he said, "I know where there's a good Brunswick." And I followed him down there, and we played for 50 and 5. Now, Poker Paul was my road partner.
Oh, I know Poker. Poker Paul. He's over in Vegas still.
Vegas now. Yeah. And so we play the guy, and the guy beats us out of $750. And Paul never says a word, and we get to the room, and he says, "Boy, what a road man I got." He said, "The dog catcher beat us out of $750." And I got the money back, but it took a week for me to learn the table and the rules. And one of the funny things there, a little Hispanic guy came up and introduced himself to me, and his name was Fidel, and he was little Al Romero's brother. lived there. He says, I heard about you. He says, I want to go watch you play. He said, but yeah, but we had a great trip, you know, and he was, you know, I got the money back from him, and I got one guy in Denver I didn't get the money back from, but we just paid for the trip. You know, we stayed in decent places and ate good and just played, you know, for about a month and a half. Had a great time.
That's one thing about golf, though, the rules. It is definitely different every place you go. You definitely have to know what the rules are before you start.
Frank, did you ever try to play any? Did you ever go to Sixth and Western and watch them gypsies play golf?
I don't think I did.
They have so many ways to go back a hole. I tried playing them once, and every time I did something, he said, "You went back a hole." You know, so they had the good rules I ever saw, and I just tried that one because they would gamble with themselves for a lot of money. But I don't know that any outsider ever learned their rules and end up beating them.
Well, John, one thing I know, I didn't know you were. I mean, I knew you as a one pocket player. That's how I remember meeting you at one of the, you know, like. Well, actually, no, I met you at the Chet Ito. But I think you were making more noise than the tournament at the snooker table. Like, you know, that's just how you are. You're the life of the room, you know.
You know, if I book a loser, I get over quick. We actually met in Reno playing 9-ball in that goofy.
Oh, the USPPA thing.
In that handicap tournament that Bob Bojo was putting on. And you in the spot was 9-7, and you said, "I'm giving you 9-7," and I said, "No, Daniel, it's the other way around."
I remember that.
Hill, and you beat me.
Wow, that's how you met me.
Yeah.
I remember that, but I didn't know that was the first time we met.
A lot more polished now, but you had too big of a break to be anybody spotting you that many games.
Yeah,
you know, you could really crush them all.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I remember that when we were in Reno. Yeah. And I was just like 2 years in on POV Pool too. So must have been 2013, I think. Yeah, but I'm a baby compared to some of your old friends, you know.
Yeah. Well,
so, you know, Frank's practicing again. He's playing at the rec center over near his house. He's practicing. So
I've been practicing. They got some nice equipment over here. They got some diamonds, and they got gold crowns, and they take care of the equipment. Everything's nice. The balls are clean. The cloth is always in good condition.
Yeah. So John, you gotta you know, work hard and rehabilitate. And hopefully get back walking again. And
it's getting better. You know, I exercise. I laid around for 3 days, barely get out of bed.
Yeah, you were watching that event.
That I regressed. I was amazed how much I regressed because I did. You know, I either do the bike or what they call stand and sits in the walker every day. And then in the morning, they have a half-hour exercise class where you do some things with your weights in the wheelchair. Yeah. And I do that every day during the week. But taking 3 days off, you know, like I said, I'm in bed because my back is sore. You know, I got up early, and then Suzanne brought me lunch because the food here is not exactly the best. So when everybody comes, I tell them come at lunch and bring a burger. You know, and I get sometimes 2-3 times a week. Yeah. And I enough for lunch. I don't have to eat dinner either.
Are you in Sacramento though, or is that where your facility is?
It's what?
Where is the facility that you're in?
I'm 2 blocks from Hard Times in Sacramento.
Oh, okay, so you are in Sac. Okay. Oh, that's gotta be torture.
They tried to put me in one in Placerville near my house. And it was really, this is a pretty nice place. And it was really a dump. And I had visited people there. And I said, look, I'm not going there. You know, you get me in a decent place. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know, you got to maintain a good mental attitude. Yeah, I've been here almost 4 months. And you know, I can see that I'm getting better. And they said, hey, you know, at your age, it takes a long time for those nerve endings to heal. You know, it might be a while yet. but I'm going to get out of here and get home with my woman and my dog, and then back to the pool room, at least to sweat it.
Well, speaking of women, look who we got here.
I made it. Yes.
Hi, Bear.
Welcome to Mary Kenniston.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mary. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
I'm so glad you made it. I'm so glad
Well,
you made
I
it.
probably only made it for a few minutes, but at least I made it.
Well,
It's Miss Mary in Long Beach, Mississippi.
That's right, Miss Mary.
Yeah.
Hiya, John. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, and thanks for the job you did.
Oh, you're welcome.
for those who don't know, Mary Kenniston and Steve Booth kind of worked together in at the Buffaloes event in Louisiana to present John Henderson with his OnePocket.org Hall of Fame award on his behalf, because John is in rehabilitation for surgery, and Mary, you did do an excellent job. I know you were probably a little nervous.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. But
the conditions were not exactly primo. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But it is what it is.
Well, yeah, you're in a noisy pool room.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I
And then the
know.
microphone that they had was you had to hold it right up to your face, and then
Yeah.
when you did that, it kind of got muffled, and so anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, well,
you did a good job. You did a very good job, especially with the Calcutta running in the background.
Oh, I know. It was a zoo. It was a zoo. Thank you.
You stayed there, Mary, didn't you, for another day?
Yeah, I did. And then I fell on Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, going back to the room. So I called Al and had him come get me.
Oh,
'Cause,
no. Are you okay?
Yeah, I didn't break anything, but I'm banged up and sore. And
Oh, Lord.
it was my fault. Carpet got me. Tripped over the carpet.
Oh, okay.
So anyway.
You got carpet sharked.
Yeah, exactly.
Mary, do you know Chris Swart? Do you know, have you guys
I
met?
know of him, but I have never met him. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Mary. How you doing?
I'm doing good. One of these days I'm going to get to your pool room.
That's okay. Yeah, it's still here, so we got time.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, John.
What do we have coming up, Chris? Do you and Daniel got anything going on?
Later this year, we're in talks to do something big for his POV 10th anniversary.
Yeah,
Wow, 10
POV
years.
Pools turning 10 years old in December.
Wow, congratulations.
So, thank you. Yeah, well, we'll see. It's not yet, but but anyway, we're talking about doing something up there at California Billiards, but also Chris, Geraldine and I are probably going to visit Washington in July, so we might actually come spend the day at California Billiards a day in July, and then then on our way back we might spend another day on the way back. So we'll see.
What part of Washington,
We'll see.
Daniel?
What's that?
What part of Washington?
Olympia. That's where Geraldine's parents moved. So we're going to visit her family and her brother, and we're staying in a hotel out there. Can't remember which one it is.
Right on the coast, isn't it? Olympia, isn't it close to it?
I think it's south of Seattle. It's not really on the coast.
Oh.
But it's south of Seattle, and
As much as it rains over there, it is like being on the coast.
yeah, that's true
It's
too.
got a son up there, yeah.
Yeah,
A son
yeah.
and two grandsons. Then north
Yeah.
of Seattle a little bit.
Yeah, but I'll try to book a day. Dan doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna try to book a day to go and hang out with Dan Louie and hopefully his friend Toshi and Ramses Verlinden. Shout out to you guys.
That'll be great.
Yeah. They
Good people.
Yeah. I went and played a. What did they have there? Washington State Championship event there, and I came in like 6th place, losing to Stan Tarango. I was so mad. I had a chance to
No
win.
shame there. He's a great player.
Yeah, and there were it was all bar tables too, so it was like, like bar box action. The bar box is like, you got a chance beating a pro when you play on a
That's
bar
true.
box.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
I met Stan in Missoula, Montana,
Oh yeah.
at a tournament that they used to have when my son had the pool room in Spokane. And so I flew up there, and he and one of my other boys and I drove to Missoula. Great tournament. I forget, Fudsy and something else used to put it on in Missoula, Montana. They had it every year. And Canadian play, a lot of guys from Canada, decent players, good players, and Tony Anagoni, and I've told Mary this story. Tony Anagoni and Cole Dixon were going, and Cole told me, he said, "Listen, if we get knocked out of the tournament, I'm going to teach you how to fly fish." Because Cole was quite a fisherman too, by the way. And he said, "There's, blue ribbon trout steams all around there." And so he and Anagoni went up there, and I told my son, Cole had just won a tournament, one of those McDermott Tour tournaments. And I told my son, I said, "Cole's playing pretty good." So Mitch bids like 400 on him in the Calcutta, and I said, "Don't bid anymore." He said, "You told me he was playing good." And I said, "He is playing good, but they've got a poker room and a bar here. He's going 2 and out." And that's exactly what happened. And I lost my first match to a guy in my son's pool room that I could give the 7 to. I was so embarrassed, because my boys were bragging about his dad, and they said, "Yeah, he can't even beat so-and-so." So anyway, I went about 8 matches on the loser sides, and one of the matches was against one of these good young Canadian players. And he's sweating every match of mine, and the more I win, he's feeling a little better about it. And I'm playing the Hat Geiler for like 3rd or 4th place. And he's watching. He says, "Pretty good putter, eh?" He's talking about me. So anyway, I'm just in a zone, and I'm running out on Geiler. And the next thing I know, he tied his handkerchief on the end of his cue stick. He says, "Wait." He says, I give. And then Stan beat me, and that was the end of that. Great. It was a great tournament to go with my boys, and have a good time up there. Of course, they went out partying.
May I ask you, John, since you have a few of your peers here, what does it mean to you to have this award, this Lifetime Achievement Award? I mean, is this something you ever expected?
People that don't know me, and I was, but I've done a lot more than just play. But I would play. If you came in and I didn't know you, I would play, because I played every game. I played one-handed, two-handed, and I wasn't a huge go-off, but I would bet enough to get the guys to come by the pool room.
Yeah.
And Billy Ray Suden showed me, he was, can I say it on here? He was not a nice fellow. Anyway.
Yeah, you can.
Instead of the D word, and so Billy Ray. And I went off pretty good to him, because he had that herky jerky stroke. I just said, "This guy can't beat me with that stroke." Well, he beat a lot of players with it. And he got out his book, and he says, "Well, let me show you here. Play the big guy with the glasses. He'd play any game and blow about 800 or 1,000. He says that you're in there." So to continue the story. And not long after that, the original Hard Times is going, and Keith McCready is the daddy down there.
Yeah.
So Keith McCready offers him the 7 on the big table for 1,000, race ahead for 1,000, 5 ahead or something like that. And he comes over to me and he says, "This dumbbell's going to give me the 7 for 1,000. Do you want a piece of it?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, you're stupid." He says, "Nobody can give me the 7. And Keith irons him out in about an hour. It just that was a great place. And Keith and I have talked about this. When he was in action, you couldn't play if you were even on any of the other tables around there, because there were so many people watching him. When he started beating all them Mexican champions on the bar table, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because those guys are running racks, he's running sets. And that's a true story.
Yeah. Speaking of Keith, somebody else wanted to say hello to you. That isn't here. I actually sent him an invite, and who knows, he may randomly show up. But Kenny Thomason, you remember Ken?
I love Kenny, yeah. And his dog.
He wanted to say hello, and I talked to Brooke yesterday. We actually,
but I got off track, which I often do. What this award means to me you know, I mean, Mary helped me with the paper the second time around. We always promoted pool and one pocket. And you know, I did, other than play, it was my job to play you if you were a stranger came. I just felt like it was.
Yeah.
But so I played everybody, and I played a lot of people I shouldn't have played. And I played a ton of guys that are already in the Hall of Fame that I'm lucky enough to be in now. And mostly in tournaments and whatever. But I just, you know, there are guys now at hard times that I was giving 9-7 to 3 years ago that are spotting me now, and they learned basically how to play by losing some money to me and then slowly getting it back.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's something that they can never take away. For a guy that's played pool for almost 70 years, I'm very proud of him.
That's right. You're in the book.
Somebody hold on.
You're in the books.
You're in the books. Yeah.
Right.
You know, I remember you came down and played that 10-foot table tournament at James Botch's house. And we did like a pregame kind of like a hype reel on it. And everybody that I interviewed, they didn't even mention you. Like, they were like, oh, my favorite's Wayne Pullen. My favorite, and my next favorite is Frank Almanza. And then, you know, and then I think, who was the other one? The
chiropractor rated me last. That's what pissed me off.
Yeah, Magdy didn't even have you rated. He just said
he never
his top
hit
3.
A ball, but
Phil Misson, right? He was the next player that he listed. And you just came in and you swept the whole tournament. You won the whole tournament.
That's right. Dark horse.
On a 10-footer.
Frank and I had a match, but you know, now that it's over, I stopped and practiced on a 5x10 in Fresno on the way down.
Yeah.
And I remember
unbeknownst to everybody present.
Does, you know, I mean, probably play a little better than me, but every time he'd have a spot shot, he'd overcut it. The 2-railer over on my side. And Frank can confirm this. That table banked. You'd liable to bank and it come back the other side of the cue ball. It hit a flat spot or something. That table was brutal.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and I was tickled to death, especially to beat Wayne and what you call, you know, big
Phil Misson.
Phil. And my boy was flying down from Seattle with my grandsons, and I was going to meet him for breakfast. And Phil took the heat, and he says, you come down to Santa Monica tomorrow, and you got 9-7. And I said, you're real lucky that I can't go. Because he would have done it. I mean, he's a great guy to gamble with.
Oh yeah.
I beat him at Hollywood Billiards, and then I went and made an appointment with him to play in Santa Monica, and he beat me, and you know, and he says, well, now you're getting a ball, you know, and I got even with, you know, he just like me, loved to play.
Well, I know James, you know, rest in peace, was really happy to have that event and to have the opportunity to see you, you know, and we couldn't get Jerry in that tournament. Remember that? We were trying to get Jerry.
I didn't bring this up to Jerry
on the roster, but we
after with what he's looking forward to. But the reason I was there and he wasn't is because he plays too slow.
Yeah, we had to tell him too. We had to break it to him.
Wait a minute, that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot when John says that Jerry plays too slow.
I see.
Because I do remember a match that I thought was going to be great that Daniel was streaming, and that was between you and what's his name out of Sacramento? Yeah. It took
Arturo
18
Rivera.
hours to play.
Oh my God, I remember that match. It was the last match of the night. Or actually, it wasn't even supposed to be the last match of the night.
God, you're tough to watch.
It ended
one
up
of the senior tournaments that Jerry was in the finals within Cardona didn't get over till 6 a.m.
Oh,
I know it.
I remember that.
He's not the slowest. That guy out of Arizona is the slowest. What's his name? John, the tall white dude, skinny.
I thought you were talking about Gus Brazano.
No. He plays in the old one of the older guys. He's slow as dirt, man. He's terrible, but he's a great player.
Not
great
Trace.
Player.
No, Trace doesn't play slow.
No. John would know what I'm talking about. He's tall, white guy, about John's age, maybe a little bit.
Bernie?
No, that's not Bernie.
No. I'll think of it.
I know now, but I can't place his name. Yeah, he's brutal. But there are a lot of guys. But I played Artie Bodendorfer 2 races to 7, and I lost the first one. Took 13 and a half hours. We played in that tournament in Texas. I won the second one, took 16 hours.
Yeah.
And when the other guy plays like that, what are you going to do? I wanted my money back, and I was pretty sure that I could beat him. I tried to outsafe him, and no living human could do that with Artie, even though he couldn't make balls anymore. But as soon as I saw he wouldn't go for his hole no matter what, I just started lagging balls down, and that's how I beat him, because he wouldn't go for a green light. He is and was one of the greatest safety players that ever played.
Or you and the Ghost. Those are long matches too.
I'll tell you a funny story about that. They tried to slip a funny cue ball in on me. This is the last trip, a little over 2 years ago. 32 tables in Chris's, and everyone has a red circle cue ball. So I go in there the day we're going to play, and they got the cameras all set up and everything. And I look at the cue ball on the table, and it's got a diamond on it. It's one of them goofy, and another funny picture. It's one of them balls like they use in Las Vegas that are iridescent, a little bit on the outside. And I thought, well, those son of a guns, they're trying to put a move on me. So I said, let me practice with this. And it plays exactly like the measles ball, which I was used to. So I didn't say a word. Yeah. And I think I had the Ghost down 6-2 the first day. And then the next morning I show up, sure enough, they got a red circle back on there. But it backfired on them.
Yeah.
So did you stay with the red circle, or did you go back
first
to
time
the ball?
he hounded it, that's not nice to say that, but he missed a ball, real easy shot to win the 4,000. Because I bet more. I bet him 3,000. Billy and Cardona staked him at Red Shoes Billiards, first time we played, and he missed that ball, and then I tied it up, and he took the heat and tried to back cut a ball in off the spot when I played him safe, and left me at cross bank, and then so I ended up beating him after he only needed 1 game. I needed 3 the last game. But that was quite an event. Before we started, they had a famous blues harmonica player in there, and he played the Star Spangled Banner before we played. And that was not that far from the South Side, so all them black guys were in there watching. They sweated every game in that place. That's a nice ballroom too.
John, who did you go on the road with most frequently and have the most fun with?
Kentucky Bill and I, took a lot of trips together in tournaments and gambling. And Bill's fun, but the first trip to Houston, he ended up that I won the Super Seniors. The very first night, he gets sick, stomach, I'm up all night with him. So I called his wife, who's an RN. Yeah. And she says, well, he's a big baby, John. Don't try not to pay no attention. He'll be all right in the morning. Well, he wasn't a big baby here. He was really sick.
He really was
sick. I'm lucky. I only have 1 match. I'm taking him back and forth to emergency.
Yeah.
And then I got him back home in the room the next night. And now he can't sleep at night. And I'm tired. So I'm snoring like a mother. He keeps waking me up, throwing pillows at me to stop the snoring. And then the next day he was still bad, so I took him to the hospital. So it was amazing. I won that tournament because I played James Christopher last, the sniper. We had a hell of a set, but I literally went undefeated. He won. I think he won the first match on the loser side. But what fun that is! Mary and Frank will both agree with me there. That is a wonderful, in spite of the smoke. You got the best taco truck in the country. 50 steps away, and a lot of great people. I love that place. And John Rizzo called me up, the general manager, to congratulate me the very next morning. He's a class act. And I made posters for everybody. And they don't, the very first one, I brought all these posters. I got every player's picture, and then one of the guys on onepocket.org, Red Card. He's a, graphics guy, so he designed them for me. So I brought 50 posters. And so some of the snakes in the pool room would steal them and try to sell them. Because I brought one for every player.
Oh, I see. That's
Now,
very
you know,
thoughtful.
There's
of you.
always somebody. Always somebody.
That's
4
really
years in a
thoughtful.
row, and the players were, you know, they liked them. A lot of them got them signed by everybody as
Yeah.
a souvenir.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
it was for.
yeah.
And it was fun.
Incidentally, I have an invite out to Kentucky to join this call, but hopefully, I actually only have about 15, 20 more minutes before I have to get going because I have a day job now. So like I don't just sit around the house doing POV pool stuff anymore. I actually work for a living. I got car payments to make. But anyway, I do have an invite out to Bill and to Jerry Matchin and a couple other guys, but you know, they still have a few minutes to join. But
you want to take with this one or the water?
but I know Kentucky was a very dear friend to you, so I was hoping he would join us.
Yeah, he's an interesting fellow. We had a lot of fun together. And we didn't go on the cheap. That trip, the last trip to play the Ghost,
Yeah.
we got one of them where you get on and rent a place close. What do they call? I forget what they call it. But anyway,
Oh,
we
like
had
Airbnb, you mean?
Airbnb. We had to get a 2-bedroom.
No, you went. That's the Chicago trip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have that. I'm displaying that poster right now, actually, on my live stream. So
that was fairly expensive. He took care of the plane tickets, and I come to find out later. He says, "Well, I'm getting mine. He has to get first class because of his back, so he gets me first class too. So there's an extra $300. So when the smoke clears, I might have made 200 off that whole trip. 4,000.
yeah, you were betting him for like It was a $4,000 bet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we took care of it. Angel, bless her heart, she picked us up at the airport. She wired us around, picked us up every day.
Yeah.
So, take everybody out to dinner and not know, Chicago's got some fairly expensive restaurants. We didn't go to a hot dog stand or Buffalo Beef or whatever, but it was a great trip. And I didn't mind it. I just had a good time. It would have been brutal to lose. But
Yeah.
Hey, John, in that match when you played the Ghost, he did have a very routine shot to win the game, but I think he shocked himself. He took like a 5-minute break before that shot, and he came back and ran into the rail.
Oh, he was
5 minutes.
We a race to 7 took 3 days and 7 hours a day, both times. And
Oh, my goodness.
he would take his glasses off and clean them, lay them down. He had 2 shoes. He would switch around. He would go to the bathroom.
Because he knew he was in over his head already.
He probably drove her going crazy.
He's a very good player.
He's trying to put you in a coma.
I went home with $100 bills instead of none. That trip, because he should have won it. And that's the only time I ever got a nickel of Bill Cardone's money. They beat me in Texas. Him and Artie both beat me real good. I played him at the Derby, and him and Beard beat me, and the Ghost pretty good. And me and the Ghost got into an argument there, and I was putting up most of the money, which was stupid. And Ghost had just an easy shot, kick safe behind the pocket.
Yeah.
And he's looking down the table, and I said, "What are you doing? This is one pocket 101 here." He says, "I like this shot." And I says, and I laid my cue on the table. I says, "That ain't the shot, you know it. Shoot this shot." I said, "We get one coach a game. I'm coaching you. Shoot this shot." He ain't shooting it now with a 45 in his ear. He shoots this shot down there, sells out. And of course, Freddie and Billy are laughing and they're saying, "Well, he shot the right shot. He just hit it bad." And it cost me. So I asked him later, I said, "Why would you not shoot the shot that I wanted you to shoot?" And he said, "I do not take instruction from inferior players."
Oh, my God.
That's
That's pretty bold.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Let me ask you about one pocket a little bit more. How do you think the game's changed over, like, say, the last 40 years? Do you think pretty much the same nuances from days of yore have carried over and players have adopted those old styles, or you think it's actually broken through to a new sort of?
Well, when you look at it, the tables have gotten tougher and the players better. But the guys, some of the guys I learned from, and I never really had a mentor, I just went around and learned and played. But they didn't want you to know they could run 8 and out. They did like 3 or 4 balls lock you in the stack. Ronnie Allen Stayforth was a pretty good old player, and nobody knew he could play because he would never run any balls.
Yeah.
Who's that, John?
He's from Oklahoma, Buck Barrett.
Okay, I don't know.
Buck Barrett. And him and Ronnie, really quit taking Ronnie, something happened. But Buck was his state course for a long time. They hustled golf together for a long time. And Buck was a pretty good player, but he never matched up where he was an absolute, like they say, one ball the best of it and one more in case they got lucky. I never seen him look a loser. And I steered him on a guy one time that I said, look, this guy's a friend of mine, but he likes to play and he'll gamble a little bit. And I run into Buck 3-4 months later. He'd walk up and hand me $60, and he says, "Here's your little piece for I beat so and so again." There's a lot of honor among the thieves back then. Yeah. The game, Ronnie changed it. I think Frank will agree with me. When other guys can run 8 and out, and you just, Bucktooth was a pretty good one-pocket player. People didn't know him well. Mary knows him better than anybody.
I just talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, and he was probably the second best one-handed player when he came around LA. He was a great one-handed one-pocket player. But I mean, and I played Cornbread Red in the '60s when he came out. I think Popcorn 60 Monkey, something. And he did. I didn't play for enough, and they knew I wasn't a big sport, so he just jumped up and ironed me out real quick. A few games. But he could run out and would. But some guys did, and some guys didn't. Different styles. But they're playing on 4 3/4, 5-inch pockets then.
Yeah. So then maybe you would agree that it's almost like the same today, except now you have more aggressive players shooting your lights out, that kind of thing. But
you got more specialists now too. I think just lately because of the money involved. I mean, Chris had one of his tournaments, and this is probably about 5 years ago. And I beat John Mora 3-1, and he hated one puck.
Yeah,
you could tell his demeanor at the table, and I talked to him after. I said, you wasn't having much fun there. And he says, I really don't care for this game. And now look at him now.
He likes it now.
Well, you're
now he's playing left-handed too.
Yeah. You're exactly right. And that's what I've brought up that I've noticed, and I'll bring up the negative just to prove my point. When Tony went and spent his time where he went, that's when I think one pocket changed dramatically. Tony used to beat up a lot of people and kept a lot of people away from one pocket. When he went away, Scott came out and started playing better. That's when all of a sudden the run out pool became more of a force. And then I also noticed that, and you're right to that point with John, it's the same with Shane Van Boning, all those guys. They didn't like one pocket until they started realizing they can make money in one pocket. They can gamble in one pocket. They can, it's easier to match up in one pocket. Right. So now you have all these great shooters who run rack after rack after rack going in and playing one pocket, and they're playing like they're playing 14-1. They're not playing like they play one pocket.
Yeah, that's true.
So these guys run 8 and out with no problem because they can see the balls not like we can. You get some of your old one pocket players. It wasn't about making 8 and out. It was about playing position, putting balls towards your corner, and sticking the guys so you can get a few 2-3 here, and then stick them again and get 2-3 here.
Yeah, learning how to hold the rock and stuff.
Yeah. Now the pros have all started to get into it, and now I think it's really changed the landscape when it comes to the way one pocket's played now.
Joshua Filler's playing one pocket now. He played Tony Chohan, didn't he?
Yeah, I think all of them are. Even Van Bonen, Van Bonen can't stand it either. But he's in there. He's starting to play now.
Yeah.
And I think it's not because they like the game. It's because we all know that's where the money's at. That's where the money's at. That's where the action's at.
Easy to match up.
Yeah,
The first Derby, the finals was Shane Van Boning and Earl. The first Derby I went to with the new place.
Yeah, Earl.
Earl Strickland and Shane Van Boning. And every game was make a long rail bank and run out. Basically was it. And Shane beat him. So, yeah, I mean, Shane been playing, 11 years ago? Shane been playing one pocket a long time. But he just didn't happen to draw anybody then, and I think he's won a U.S. Open too. I may be wrong, but who's the guy from England? He won one, and he couldn't go play.
Darren
I'll tell you who's the most underrated player in one pocket, and that's Corey Deuel.
Yes.
Corey Deuel is a lot better than people think.
I think he's the most creative.
Yeah, well, he always
player.
has been, hasn't he? Because that bar box 8-ball experience of his is just, you can't.
It's the combos.
Yeah.
If you watch his matches, that man makes 95% of combos. It could be 5 feet. They can be 5 inches from each other. I don't know what it is and how he aims his balls, but he makes combos like nobody I've ever seen. And that's huge in one pocket. You start making combos, you're killing people because that's normally what you try to hide behind.
Right.
He's been a great player for a long time, but he's got that cloud over his head. He's usually going to do one stupid shot to keep from winning this or the month. He does.
I agree.
That's true too. I mean, one pocket's one of those weird games too, where you can be the better shooter but still lose because there's that one shot that you sell it all out.
Talking about Corey Deuel, I just watched this match video from a few years back when he was just actually learning the game or starting to learn the game when he played against Shannon Dalton, and he was breaking the balls wide open. I'm sure you guys have seen that. And asked him afterwards, well, why were you breaking that way? He says, well, against the good players, that's why I'm going to break because I'm the one to get into a moving game with them. And he did win that match against Shannon Dalton. Where wide open break. You guys saw that?
I've used that break a few times on people when you draw it back and get the cue ball up to the top rail. That works good because it sets people up. If they try to run and they miss, everything's wide open. It's actually good play. You just have to have the balls to do it. If you hit it right, it works. Most of the balls go to your pocket. It only leaves about one shot.
I don't think
like he plays it. You're leaving a long shot to the hole, and that shot's twice as tough because if they miss it, they're giving up a lot of balls.
I'll tell you who was missed at this last tournament and who has been coming on strong is Francisco Bustamante.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what. Every time I watch him play, he gets better.
Yeah, and
one pocket.
He's synonymous for saying that too. He's famous for saying it too. Like he doesn't like one pocket, but he'll play it, right?
I think he's been all these years. He's been shadowed by Efren.
Yeah.
That's right.
You move Efren out of the way, Bustamante would be the best player in the world.
That's right. I agree.
Everybody would look at it. He's always been shadowed by Efren.
Parika too for a long time.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Parika as well. From back in those days when Parika was at his height. Parika and Efren are supposed to do a farewell exhibition event very soon.
Are they really?
Yeah, and I'm talking to his handlers about possibly streaming it, but more on that. I don't really know yet.
I hope so. I'd love to watch that. I used to love watching Parika play. I used to bet on him every chance I got whenever we matched up.
Yeah.
Oh, you could talk to him. We gambled a lot on the 6x12 in Bellflower. And you can talk to me about any player in the world. I robbed him in Sweden, beat him to death in Chicago. He never, he beat every single human. And when he first came over here, though, and they had them tours back in Florida. He made a fortune, but he's never, he didn't say, oh, he plays pretty good or he's all right. He said, I robbed him here. I beat this guy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a good guy. I like him a lot. Played the horses with him. He don't even, all he does is just bet a bunch of numbers.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's
Him and
I was
Ronnie.
gonna say that he's the worst gambler in the world when it comes to any card games. I sat at many of the tables with him and I was looking at him going, dude, are you kidding me? What are you doing? Go back to the pool table. He's horrible at the casinos.
So
He
funny.
just wants to
He's
be in
pushing
action.
the horses.
Well, a lot of champion pool players are dismal at the casino, aren't they? I mean, we don't have to go into it, but so look,
It's
guys,
all about the action.
we have about 5 minutes left. I just wanted to I want to thank all of you guys for joining us. You know, and to say, you know, thank you to John Henderson for all his years. I want to give you guys all a minute. If there's anything you want to tell John or anything, you know, I mean, I for one, I just want to, I'll start off by saying, congratulations, John. You know, you have always been a light in the room, like, you know, and you have willingly stepped up to be of service, and to share your knowledge of the game, especially like with POV pool and commentating certain matches, and you know, your patience is remarkable, and I really appreciate you as a human being, and I'm really happy for you that you got this award. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
I'll say a
else?
couple of words.
Sure, Frank.
Hey, Johnny, I was hoping that you and I could make it and room it at the Bogies this coming tournament, but I think it's now they moved it to July the 4th. But if it was in October, maybe there would have been a chance that you might be in condition to room together and play up there. Of course, if we did go up there, instead of renting a car, I think we'd have to rent a canoe.
That's why they moved it. That's why they moved it, because either the tornadoes or the hurricanes, every time we go there in the fall.
Taking the car back to the airport, and we're getting pretty close, and we're driving down this one-way road. There's a guy running down the road, waving his hands. I never drove in a flat place like Texas before, and the guy says, back up, the water's coming, you're going to be under 4 feet of water pretty quick. So we're backing up as fast as I could go, and we got out of there without losing the car.
Ming and I were driving back to her house, and then everywhere we went, it was just flooded. And we got trapped, and I had visions of being the one that you see on the TV news where they had them, you know, sitting on the roof of the car with the helicopter, you know, taking them out. I was screaming at Ming because I wanted to stay, and she wanted to leave, and I was screaming at her. Oh, I was never so glad to get home that night.
Yeah, that was a rough that weekend.
Anyway, that's why they moved it. I talked to Rizzo. He said that's why they moved it, because it's either tornadoes or hurricanes every time we go in the fall. So
Yeah, my wife was kind of concerned of me going again at that time of the year because the times that I went, it was pretty hard with all that rain and water. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah. So we'll see what happens this time. I just booked my plane tickets last night.
Travel safe.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Chris, I hope to come up and see you guys up there in the next one pocket tournament that you do. I'll come up there. And Mary, it was really nice talking to you. I know we talked a few weeks ago on the phone for a few minutes.
Yeah,
It was nice, and I hardly ever get the chance to see you.
I know.
And Johnny, you got to get yourself back up on your feet. And
Absolutely.
Mr. Bush, keep doing that POV. It's a great deal.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Daniel. And I hope Gary gets through his surgery okay. You know, I've known Jerry about as long as I've known John Henderson.
Jerry Matchin, yeah.
And
Yeah,
anyway, so I'm pulling for him.
Yeah, also, Sam DeCoster wanted to say congratulations to you, John. You're a real class act, he says. Jason Silva, Grasshopper, as he is also known, wanted to say congratulations. And you know, I know that Kentucky wants to be here, but he just doesn't. I don't know what his deal is.
Well, with that goes
I know
way back.
Kentucky just is like, he's probably not here out of some sort of protest that I don't understand. Like that's just Bill. Bill Meyers, we love you, but you know, you needed to be here
every day, you know, and he's going through some tough health issues now too.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's it. But I really appreciate this. Is fun, Daniel.
Yeah.
I hope a bunch of them.
Yeah. And
Because I got more stories.
I bet you do. So I'm gonna actually, you guys won't see this or unless you're actually logged on to my live stream, but I'm gonna end the live stream by playing the trailer for the James Botch tournament that we had in 2017, the one that John Henderson swept, and
Snapped it off.
He snapped it off,
Yeah.
and I just feel like it was that event that I was feeling my most creative because of the people that were sort of behind it, like James Botch, may he rest in peace, and you guys as well, John and Wayne Paulin and Frank and Phil Misson, all great people. So with that, I want to thank you guys for coming on. And Chris, I'll be up and seeing you in July.
All right.
Okay.
And we'll put something together for October. Maybe John will be up out of his wheelchair by then, and I can take his Social Security checks that he's been stacking.
And I'll have a bunch of them.
Yeah, I know you're gonna have a whole collection of those checks, man. John, I really, if there's anything I can ever do, just please, I'm just a phone call away. If you need me to reach out or anything to the people that follow POV Pool, and by all means, you know, please get better. Please push hard. I know you. I'm so good to see you in good spirits. It really is.
Hey, this helps. Believe me, Daniel. Thank you very much.
Good. All right, guys. Well, that's it. I appreciate
Bye,
it.
everybody. Thank you, Daniel.
Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, John.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everybody. Bye, Mary.
Mary and Frank.
Yep. Hope to see all you guys soon.
All right. Take care.
Yes.
All right. Well, that was really nice. Hold on a second here. Well, what the fuck? Come on. All right. Forget it.
Yeah, I met Frank in the 80s.
Look at this shot. Oh, I love it. I love it.
And Frank had a nice game. But then I saw him play one pocket, and I was impressed. I thought, Frank, you play this game really good. It's a very good one pocket player.
I think maybe in the last 5 years I've taken the game serious. If we were going to play other games, I would put myself as a favorite. I'm talking about 8-ball straight pool. I think that my game is up to the point now where I can be competitive with him or any of the people that I'm going to be playing against.
So yeah, Phil Misson, AKA Johnny Bravo. Yeah, playing boosty, so let's make this quick.
Phil's game, I met him in Santa Monica. He has his foot on the accelerator, which is good if you're in dead stroke. But if Phil thought a little bit more, was a little bit more conservative, I think his game would come up a ball in hand.
I'm known as like a small cash game player, and I'll match up with basically anyone if we can make the game right. I'm bringing home the cash. Let's just take it that way. I feel good about it, and we'll make it happen.
Daniel at Point of View Pool has asked us to do a video about the upcoming tournament down at James and Stephanie Bach's home in Southern California. I'm going to play against 3 Southern California players: old friend Frank the Barber Almanza, Wayne Pullen, and Phil Misson. I'm not driving 400 miles to be a pacer in this. I'm going to bring my A game. They're going to have to play some to beat me. I've been pocketing balls well. I've been banking good. I certainly know how to play some one pockets.
So I think Wayne's the favorite, but you know, on these short races, any one of us can win it. So I think it'll be good fun.
My name's Wayne Pullen. I'm originally from Canada, but I've been living in the U.S. since like 1974, and I've been in L.A. since the early 80s. Any one of the 4 of us could win the tournament. You know, it's I've never played on a 10-foot table. I've never even seen a 10-foot table, so I don't know how much that's going to restrict me.
Wow, what a shot.
I understand Kenny Thomason's going to be there. Rich Grenier's going to be there. I don't know Magdi, but he is a one-pocket enthusiast.
My name is Magdi. I play in Santa Monica House of Billiards. I play Wayne and Phil 4 to 5 times a week. I've played some of the best players in the world. I've learned from them, and I'm still learning at 54. I think the best player in that format will be Wayne Pullen. Wayne is very steady, very patient, meticulous. My second favorite player in this format will be Phil. And the reason I say Phil, because Phil has a lot of firepower. There is not a shot that he cannot execute. He's very creative and very aggressive. My third favorite would be Frank. And I like Frank because he's old school, Chicago style, very slow, very meticulous, does not take any risks. He will frustrate you because he plays slow and he doesn't take a lot of chances. John Henderson is the 4th player in this format, and John is great. This is going to be a great format. I think there's going to be some great matches. There's going to be some great outs and a lot of moves and a lot of good one-pocket. My cohort in commentating is going to be One Pocket Rich, and it's going to be fireworks. Rich and I are really funny, and we've played for hundreds of hours. He's so much better, and he's so knowledgeable about the game, and he knows all the players in this format really well. So he will bring something very, very special, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to working with him on this event.